Cheers to another year and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, let me fill you in. We have two simple rules. Eat, live good. I'm Liv and I'm still good. How you doing? Today we are making a tamale pie in honor of my father's godmother, trying to get back to family and trying to pass down some of those recipes. My father's been wanting this recipe recreated for years. And it feels like no better time than the present. The weather is taking a turn for the chilly side, and we just need something real, stick to your bones, warm your soul, good. It's time, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into those ingredients. Here's the starting lineup for our ground beef base. You can use any protein you like. And for my cornmeal, I forgot to put the flour here, but we're going to use it. Hey, cilantro. You can definitely add this for an herbaceous note. And if you have any dried chilies laying around, rehydrate them, blend them up, and throw them on in. Here's for my ASMR fans. Ooh, satisfaction. I'm going to use about a cup of onion diced up. You could use the whole half if you're feeling froggy. That's not going to be a problem. It's not an exact cut, but it's also not too chunky, a small dice. I'm going to put that in a bowl off camera. Cute childish moment. Yeah, that happened. So with the green pepper, I'm going to use about 3/4 and eat the rest. I don't know about you, but I love just snacking on the raw veggies that I can while I'm cooking. It's a bad habit, but when you cooking at home for the fam, you could treat like that. I hope you enjoyed that dramatic rendition of me smashing the garlic before mincing. Into a bowl also. We're going to use some large olives out the can. I just poured off the brine and I'm going to give them a nice slice. About 4 ounces will do. You can do more if you like. Hey, this is my new Dutch oven, Margot. I'm very excited about her. My very good college friend, Narisa, gave this to me. And yeah, this pot did amazing. So I'm really excited to cook with it more. Thanks, Margot. Over to you, Liv. So here you see me sweating my vegetables. I'm not too worried about the garlic searing up and burning because that onion and pepper has so much water content that it'll take care of it and everything will be all good. So once my onions are translucent and the vegetables are soft, I'm going to go ahead and push those to the side and add my ground beef. I'm going to use my spoon. Does look like it's gone through a few things. Probably has. And break it up. The meat is starting to brown up, so I like to season at this point. I didn't include pepper and salt because I feel like that's something that's in everyone's pantry. In terms of customization, you can definitely add more or less cayenne to dictate how spicy you want this to be. You can be very generous with the oregano. Just sprinkle it on. And cumin. I don't like to go too heavy with cumin. I've just come around to accepting all the magic and earthiness that cumin brings to the table. So I do add it slowly, but I think half a tablespoon will get you there. I'm going in with seasoned salt. Feel free to use whatever you have on hand to taste. And at this point, the beef is brown, it's looking good. It's broken up very nicely. We'll give it one more sample, make sure we're good to go before we add our tomato. I have a good base on it. At this point, you may want to squeeze out the fat depending on how lean your beef was. So I'll be right back with you as we continue to build up our beef. At this point, I will go ahead and add my can of crushed tomatoes. But long story short, I already have a can that I opened because I was going to make some homemade salsa and grabbed the wrong type of tomatoes in the can. So when I made it, it just never gave me the salsa flavor. So I have some crushed tomatoes. This was This has onion, cilantro, garlic, a little cumin in it already. So this has a little extra in it, but no big deal. I'm trying to fire back on my beef, and I'm gonna go ahead and add that failure of a salsa. This is kind of the reason why this recipe came about. I didn't want any of my food to go to waste. It's a big pet peeve of mine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that whole thing in there. See what we're working with at this point. So this tomato's definitely brightened it up with the lime. It's definitely brightening up the flavor of this. So I'm gonna let that cook together a little bit. I also added some heat because I had some serranos in that salsa. But I am here for it. And again, you can always feel free to add and adjust your recipe as you see fit. I almost forgot them. Now, I don't like olives by themselves. So if you're like me and like, I don't mess with those, I say stay open-minded because I don't eat olives by themselves, but I had them in an empanada, like a Puerto Rican style empanada, in love. So don't be afraid. You might not eat them by themselves, but they do wonderfully in dishes and they add a little extra flavor to the profile. So go ahead and throw them in, keep an open mind. And let that cook together for about 5 more minutes. And then we're gonna set our beef aside so we can start working on that top. With half a can of corn, I'm adding half a cup of cornmeal, half a cup of all-purpose flour. It doesn't have to be perfectly leveled. This recipe is very forgiving in terms of exact measurements. Then I'm going to have a stick of butter melted and put it all in there. 1 egg. I wish I could do it with one hand. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon or so of salt, and of course some sugar. I mean, you don't have to put sugar if you don't like sweet cornbread, but I do. I'm using half a cup. And also half a cup, not an exact cup, but half a baking cup of the chicken broth to bring this all together. You don't want it too loose or too thick because you're looking for a nice moist cornbread top. Hopefully you're following me on Instagram. There's the handle in case you need it. Check that out after the video if you're not on it. You came with me to the store and you saw me pick up some cheese, and we talked about the fact that if you all about that shred life, fresh cheese all day, every day, that's you. Sometimes the convenience is all you need. I'm not baking anything that needs to be rich and luscious. I'm not making mac and cheese. So this will do just fine. I'm adding in some sharp cheddar cheese, and that wasn't enough, so I added more. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that in. Once the cheese is incorporated, it's time to pour over our cornbread with the corn inside of it, right on top. Get all, scrape the bowl now. Get all the sides and spread it around to coat the entire top. So I just popped it in the oven at 375. My oven runs a bit hot, so I wanted to turn it down. I usually probably put it in at 400 without an issue. I'm gonna leave it in there for about 15 minutes and check and see how we're doing. We want that to be a nice moist cornmeal layer with a little bit of brown crispies around the edges. So Margot is here showing me and this oven exactly who's in charge, because she is doing a wonderful job giving an even cook time to whatever's in this pot. So I could have definitely done 400 for 30 minutes. And now for the grand reveal. Ooh, ooh, do you see the bubble? Oh, okay, somebody go pass me my spoon. So I got my spoon ready. I got my bowl, and like this pot, this bowl is blessed. So let's go ahead and get a scoop. Let's go ahead and scoop a little bit out here. Okay, I see some cheesy goodness. Cornbread's breaking up on us, but that's okay. That means it's moist. Gonna put that right back on top. Not a problem. All right, we're in the bowl. We're gonna garnish with a little cilantro. Of course, feel free to substitute with any garnish you prefer. Now, look at my father. He's just smiling, ready to eat. But watch that smile fade because I was stumbling over my words and taking too long. Come on now, child. Wrap it up. Let's see. How are we doing here?
I'll tell you in 1 second. Where'd it go?
So we can keep this?
We can keep going.
Okay, all right. So what do you get? Some smokiness? What flavors you got?
The Tex-Mex, corn, and the cornbread on top, the cilantro. Perfect.
There we are.
Dig it again. Bon appetit.
Oh boy. As always, thank you for joining me here at Eat, Live Good. I have leftovers for days, and I will catch you next time.